Dear comrades, colleagues, and friends, I thank you for the opportunity to address such a critical topic at such a pivotal moment in history. Today we must confront the ongoing genocide against the Palestinian people, a crime that continues to unfold before the eyes of the world with little meaningful intervention. But beyond the immediate atrocities, we must understand the broader geopolitical forces at play, forces that are actively shaping a new world order, one of that serves the interest of the imperialist powers at the expense of justice, democracy, and self-determination of the people. In particular, we must analyze the role of the United States of America, now under the leadership of Donald Trump once again, whose policies are not only reinforcing Israeli aggression and atrocities, but are also reshaping global alliances, undermining European stability, and promoting an imperialist vision that extends far beyond the Middle East. Under the previous administration of Joe Biden, the United States maintained its unwavering support for Israel's war crimes. Biden provided Israel with billions of military aid, ensured its immunity at the United Nations, and played a decisive role in sustaining the genocide against our people, the Palestinians. However, today with Trump's return to power, we are witnessing an even more aggressive approach, one that seeks not only to enrich Israeli occupation, the colonial occupation, but to redesign the entire region in accordance with the new imperialist order. Trump's policies have never been about peace or stability. They are about domination, control, economy, and exploitation. His administration is not just supporting Israel's ongoing ethnic cleansing in Gaza and in the West Bank, it is actively facilitating a broader plan for the forced displacement of Palestinians. And Trump, in direct coordination with the Israeli government, is pushing forward an agenda that aims to expel large portions of Palestinians' population, with Jordan and Egypt being primary targets for this democratic engineering. This forced displacement is not an accident. It is a deliberate strategy that aligns with the broader US-Israeli vision for a new Middle East. A vision that erases Palestinian sovereignty, redraws regional alliances, and secures Israeli hegemony in the Middle East region, and even broader than that. For years, we have heard discussions about the so-called New Middle East, a concept that is now being aggressively promoted under Trump's administration. But what does this vision truly entail? It is a vision that prioritizes Israeli expansion, legitimizes apartheid, and coerces Arab states into normalizing relations with Israel under American pressure. It is a vision that undermines European influence as well, ensuring that the region remains an exclusive playground for the United States and Israeli interests. And it is a vision that seeks to redefine the Arab world not as a collective force, but as fragmented states, each pursuing its own survival in the landscape dominated by the imperialist dictates. One of the most dangerous aspects of this new order is the increasing pressure on the countries like Jordan and Egypt to absorb Palestinian refugees. The Trump administration is pushing for an economic-based displacement policy where Palestinians are not expelled by a direct force alone, but through economic strangulation, forced impoverishment, and political coercion. Gaza, under this framework, is meant to become uninhibited, forcing its residents to flee either willingly or out of sheer dispersion. Dear comrades, Trump's ambitions are not limited to the Middle East area. He is also reshaping US relations with Europe in ways that fundamentally alter the balance of power on the global stage. In his latest policies and speeches, including statements made at the Munich Security Conference just days ago by his vice J.D. Vance, Trump has directly attacked the European Union, portraying it as an undemocratic entity with expressing support for the far-right movement across the continent, the Friends of Netanyahu. This is not merely rhetoric, it is a strategic maneuver aimed at weakening European unity, fostering initial division, and ensuring that Europe remains dependent on American political and economic dictates. Trump's trade policies further illustrate this approach by imposing heavy tariffs and taxes on European industries and undermining NATO. His administration is systemically dismantling the traditional trans-alliances, replacing it with a world order where the US dictates terms unchallenged. For Europe, this means an increasingly position that faces both an external threat from Trump's economic nationalism and an internal threat from the rising far-right movements that seeks to dismantle the EU from within. A weekend, Europe serves Trump's interests as it removes any potential counterweight to American unilateralism. In light of these developments, the Arab world stands at a critical crossroads. The recent decisions to postpone the Arab Summit that should be held within the coming days, originally scheduled for this month, reflects the internal divisions and external pressure that the Arab nations and states are facing. However, postponing dialogue is not a solution. It is an avoidance of responsibility in front of the Arab people, and the Palestinians in particular. The time for symbolic statements and passive diplomacy is over. What is needed today is a unified Arab response, one that rejects forced displacement, defies economic correction, and asserts national sovereignty over external pressures and countering the far-right American influence. The Arab world must recognize the broader implications of Trump policies, not just for Palestine, but for the global area stability. We are witnessing a historical transformation, one that threatens to reshape the Middle East into a landscape dictated by Israeli expansion in what is called the Bigger Israel and American imperialism. The genocide against Palestinians is not an isolated crime. It is a manifestation of a much larger geopolitical project that seeks to erase Palestinian identity, control Arab nations, and destabilize European unity. If the international community does not act decisively, we will see not only the forced displacement of Palestinians, but also the fragmentation of global stability under Trump's imperialist ambitions. The choice before us is clear. Either we accept this imposed reality, or we fight and resist to change it. Either we allow the Middle East to be redrawn according to the Israeli and American interest, or we work towards a new future, one built on justice, resistance, resilience, and collective liberation. The time for action is now. We must stand united against genocide, against forced displacement, and against the imperialist vision that seeks to dominate our future. Together we can reshape history, not as passive observers, but as active participants in the fight of justice, dignity, and freedom of all the people. Thank you.